And when he came to the place where the wild things are, they reared their terrible roars and gnashed their terrible teeth and rolled their terrible eyes and showed their terrible claws till Max said, "Be still," and tamed them with the magic trick of staring into all their yellow eyes without blinking once. And they were frightened and called him the most wild thing of all and made him king of all wild things. Joseph Campbell went and got that and read it to me. And he said that is a great moment because it's only when a man tames his own demons that he becomes the king of himself, if not of the world.
We're animals, we're violent, we're criminal, we're not so far away from the gorillas and the apes, those beautiful creatures. So of course, and then we're supposed to be civilized, we're supposed to go to work every day.
And what haunts me is that in all the faces of all the bears that Treadwell ever filmed, I discover no kinship, no understanding, no mercy.
If you stand out too much, you get whacked. So I made sure to tell my jokes kind of secretly.
And as it turns out, sometimes the so-called right way is utterly the wrong way. What a monstrous confusion.
And you'd have to find a way to survive at the dinner table.
Because you're really fighting yourself all the way along the line.
Of course, there's a lot of misery that is all around us. The trees here are in misery and the birds are in misery. I don't think they sing, they just screech in pain.
What he did was pick a form that looked so humble and quiet so that he could crawl into that form and explode emotionally. Find every way of expressing every emotion in this miniature form. I didn't have much confidence in myself, never. And so I hid inside, like Krista was saying, this modest form called the children's book, and expressed myself entirely. I wasn't going to paint, and I wasn't going to do ostentatious drawings. I wasn't going to have gallery pictures. I was going to hide somewhere where nobody would find me and express myself entirely. I'm like a guerrilla warfare in my best books. She puts him in a room and denies him food. No way. Mamas never do that kind of thing. Kids never get pissed at their parents. Unheard of. And the worst offense, he comes home, she leaves food for him, not punished. Not punished. It seemed to me she was always mad, and in Yiddish she called me the equivalent of Wild Thing and chased me all over the house. I used to hide in the street and hope she forgot before I crept up in the evening. It was all natural that your father took swipes at you, that you dodged, and your mother... Rough.
We grew up in complete poverty and we had no running water, no sewage system, hardly ever electricity. We had one loaf of bread per week and we were hanging at her skirt, wailing that we were hungry, and she spins around and she looks at us and she says, "Boys, if I could cut it out of my ribs, I would cut it out of my ribs, but I can't."
Our mother, who had problems emotionally and mentally, and we didn't know that. Your mommy is supposed to be perfect. She should be there for you, love you, kiss you. You know, every movie we ever saw, Claudette Colbert hugging her children, we knew what it should be like. And it wasn't, and we had no sympathy at all.
Theft. You have to have a certain amount of, I say, good criminal energy. Sometimes, yes, you have to. You have to go outside of what the norm is.
Well, that's what art is. I mean, you don't make up stories. You live your life. And I was not Max. I did not have the courage that Max had, and I didn't have the mother that Max had. Give you, love you, and you know, this little scene, which is so trivial, happens at everybody's house, happens every Tuesday and Thursday. He has a fit, she has a fit. He'll go on until he's about 35, goes into therapy, and wonders why he can't get married. Okay, because people often say, what happens to Max? And it's such a coy question that I always say, well, he's in therapy forever. He has to wear a straitjacket when he's with his therapist.
And when I look at this, I know I'm the only one who is clinically sane.
Kids are drawn to it. Maybe there are lots of children, and certainly parents, who are not drawn to my work because they don't want to see those shadows. But I'm telling what it was like for me, and I know it was not unique for me. I've known many children, many unhappy and many disturbed children, who don't know how to talk about it. And you know, strangest thing, the fan mail I get from kids, are asking me questions which they do not ask their mothers and fathers. Because if they had, why write to me, a perfect stranger? I certainly don't spell it out. But they have to know it's possible things are bad. But they are surrounded by people who love them and will protect them, but cannot hide the fact that there is something bad.
What does it take for a child to have courage? And what do you mean by
Innocence.
innocence?
Enormous innocence to really not know how evil the world can be. How can it be so evil?
Has life without fire become unbearable for them?
You would do well to remember that life is heartless and brutal, and the cosmos is indifferent to us all. I'd say goodbye, but what's the point?
I saw something on the street, namely a kid sleeping in a cardboard box on a posh LA street, which seemed strangely incongruous. And there was dumps. You know, dumps is the state of the world. Dumps is the condition of cities, and dumps is the condition of a lot of people's lives.
We're all in the dumps for diamonds or trumps. The kittens are going to St. Paul's. The baby is bit. The moon's in a fit, and the houses are built without walls.
It's also a happy book because it has a happy ending despite all the odds. How do you exclude sad from everyday life? You tell the truth as best you can. And the people who need the truth most are children to defend themselves. How does a kid get through an occasion when he or she is all by him or herself without the aid and assistance of an adult? It could be they make out as best they can. What does a kid do who all power is taken away from him? How does he get back? In actuality, he can't. He has to wait till he's released and he's fed.
And then actually to learn how to survive in that just kind of crazy mix. I don't know, we got this stuff, we have to figure it out. It's up to you guys.